Hey guys, this is Abdullah again, and today we have a very nice comparison for you guys. So I'm going to be comparing the Nokia 9 PureView against the Nokia 8.3 5G. So let's start by saying that they both offer completely different approaches to how the best image is captured. The Nokia 9 PureView is a very unique device in its approach. So what it does is it uses 5 cameras with very similar specs in order to capture one image. So all of the 5 cameras on its back are 12 megapixel cameras with an aperture of f1.8. The only difference between them is that 2 of the cameras capture images in color, while 3 cameras capture monochrome images. And if I had to sum up its strengths, I would say that the details that it captures from 5 different cameras results in some really good raw images that capture plenty of details that you can extract later on in Lightroom, for example. The other benefit of this setup is capturing more dynamic range in the images, since all of the 5 cameras are combining to capture one image. And then of course there is the bokeh advantage. So in addition to the 5 cameras, there's also a time of flight sensor, which helps capture depth. Now moving on to the more traditional setup of the Nokia 8.3 5G. So the phone has 4 cameras on its back, and each of them offers a completely different setup. The main camera is a 64 megapixel unit with an aperture of f1.89. It uses pixel binning technology in order to capture 16 megapixel images from the sensor. Then there's the ultra-wide sensor, which is a 12 megapixel sensor, and it's quite a large sensor with a nice f2.2 aperture. The other 2 cameras are a depth sensor, which is 2 megapixels, and it helps with portrait images. And then the last sensor is the 2 megapixel macro sensor, which I really don't like having on this phone. And as is tradition with Nokia devices, both of them offer Zeiss optics for their cameras. So, which one of these offers the better imaging experience and which one of them offers better picture quality? Let's find out. So let's get into it with some photo samples. So let's start with this first picture of the teddy bears. So as you can see, the picture is quite good on both of the devices. I really like the tone that both of these devices managed to capture. Both of the pictures seem quite accurate and real to life in terms of colors. When you zoom in, the 8.3 is a bit better though when it comes to the details on the teddy bear. So in this picture, I really prefer the colors of the 9 PureView over the 8.3, which I feel oversaturates a bit the orange, the ginger fur of the cat. But once again, when you zoom in, the 8.3 captures more details and has better focus in this specific image. Close-up of the controllers here with a good test for the bokeh effect, and I think both of these phones do an excellent job when it comes to the natural bokeh. But I'd have to give this win to the 9 PureView. The highlights are all managed better on the top of the carpet, so the image is just overall better balanced when it comes to the colors. So in this picture, I like the colors better on the 9 PureView because I think the 8.3 adds this slightly yellowish tint to the picture. But when it comes to details, once again, the 8.3 I feel does a better job, especially with the focus and the details on the face of the cat. I think this is an excellent demonstration of how well the 9 PureView handles different contrast and different lighting. Just look at how nicely balanced this picture is. The 8.3 does a decent job here. I wouldn't say it takes a bad picture by any means. It's very hard to find a phone that actually does a better job than the 9 PureView in a situation like this. This is a picture of the sign, and I think both of them do a really good job in this picture. It's hard to choose a winner, but I did notice that the 8.3 captures better details in the leaves compared to the 9 PureView. The 9 PureView went a bit too dark when it comes to the exposure in this situation in order to try and preserve as much detail as possible from the sky. The 8.3 in this situation has a more balanced looking image with good details in the shadows as well as the sunset. The 9 PureView underexposes this image, and the fire hydrant is more red than what you see on the 9 PureView's image. but it's not as red as the 8.3. So one went with undersaturation, one went with oversaturation. So this is an excellent demonstration to how accurate and how well controlled the picture is on both of these devices. None of them in this situation oversaturate the image. Both of the images look very, very realistic. This shows you the different approach found on both devices. The 8.3's image is better overall exposed compared to the 9 PureView, which underexposes severely in this situation. But because it underexposes severely, it manages to capture better dynamic range in the sky in particular, but at the expense of details in the car itself. 9 PureView in this situation almost undersaturates the image, while the 8.3 gets a better balance of colors in this particular situation. But the dynamic range on the 9 PureView is slightly better in this situation, as you can see on the sky. I'm just overall much happier with the 8.3's image and how much better details it manages to capture throughout the whole frame, as opposed to the 9 PureView, which does a good job with the sky, for example, but does a really bad job when it comes to the edges and the bench. I used night mode in this situation to get a nice balanced result, while I used auto mode on the 9 PureView. And if you just look at the colors and the details preserved, the car and the number plate, the 8.3 is just simply a step above in this situation. This is using night mode on the 8.3 versus auto mode on the 9 PureView, and in this situation you clearly see the big advantage that the 8.3 has over the 9 PureView when it comes to low light images. The details are all preserved, even on the bottom of the seat and on the carpet, and all the colors are spot on, while the 9 PureView really struggles in this particular situation in auto mode because it's just not programmed in the correct way to get the best result in this situation. So let's sum up this comparison. In daylight situations, both cameras capture excellent pictures. I would have to say that the 9 PureView captures a bit more realistic looking images with better, more true to life colors. When it comes to the details captured though, the 8.3 captures better details, especially when you look at the background of the images or the things that are out of focus. As for low light images, I feel like the 8.3 easily edges out the 9 PureView, especially when you're just using automatic settings. The addition of night mode on the 8.3 makes capturing good low light images a breeze. And yes, if you use manual settings on the 9 PureView, you can capture nice low light images. But the images captured straight out of the camera on the 8.3 without any sort of hassle or intervention are just much better images, especially when it comes to how well balanced the images captured are, in terms of preserving the highlights and preserving the details and the shadows. The other important aspect is in ease of use and the interface, and I feel like the 8.3 is steps ahead in this regard. It's a lot more reliable capturing images, and it does it in a much quicker manner. Sharpness is also tuned a bit better on the 8.3 compared to the 9 PureView, which happens to over-sharpen a lot of the images, especially in daylight. Because it has 4 cameras on its back, well, let's say 3 cameras on its back, it's a lot more versatile compared to the 9 PureView, especially when it comes to capturing ultra-wide pictures, which I really like having. And specifically because the ultra-wide images captured on the 8.3 are really good. So yeah, I would say the overall winner of this comparison is the 8.3. And you guys can stay tuned to more comparisons with other devices. So yeah, you can look forward to that. So what do you guys think about this comparison? Do you think I was fair, or do you disagree with my assessment of the photo quality? Let me know in the comments down below. That's it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.